Hey Skyfarers, and welcome to Aethercast, the Kharadron Overlords podcast. I'm Lee, the Arcanine Admiral, and joining me is the Lord Magnate himself, Alexander Cron.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good, it's good. How are you?
Good, yeah. Just
Good. Have you been playing much recently?
no, actually, work's been keeping me pretty busy, but just catching up on painting with all my Arcanauts. Gotta get them done sometime.
Yeah. How many have you got at the moment?
120. Gotta get those. Had to get those skyhooks somehow.
Oh, you didn't
And I
go
just
for
got
any?
this chaff that's slowly getting painted, slowly getting done.
Yeah. I haven't got anywhere near that many myself yet, but I've mostly converted my skyhooks.
That's the smarter way of doing it.
Yeah. But yeah, I've only really been playing doubles recently.
Yeah. With the Sylvaneth ally?
Well, same person, but he switched to death.
Oh.
Which we won the last practice game, so that's possibly a good sign. At least he's not blocking my line of sight anymore. So
No.
it was quite nice to. It was quite nice to actually want Nagash to hand and dust something, rather than to see it from the other's perspective. That was quite funny.
You can definitely bring some magic support there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was playing the gas, so that's plenty of magic support.
That's all the magic support you need.
Yeah, yeah, and I've just been painting Fundrix properties, just working on them, taking my time.
Oh yeah.
Well, I say taking my time. I haven't been like spending hours on them. I just haven't. Yeah, well, that's exactly the point. I haven't spent much time on them. Like I'm not labouring over them, but I've just been dipping in and out of them every now and then, doing like 15 minutes here or there or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Contrast paints might help with that when they come out. They look pretty good.
I don't know how much they help with KO. Cause,
with all our metallic stuff.
And I think they're good for like models that are mostly one color. You know, like a squig, something like a squig or a skink, and they've got a lot of skin. You just do that whole, the whole body, and then you just paint the details afterwards. I think that'd be pretty good.
Could help with fire slayers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If there's like a skin color one, or like if you don't want to do like the pinky skin, because to be honest, if I haven't got any fire slayers to ally in, but if I did, I wouldn't want to do that pinky color skin because I don't think it would sit very well with my color scheme for my KO. So I don't know.
No, probably not.
Different. But yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm not sure when it's coming out.
June, I hear.
Is that when it's coming out in June? Well, it makes sense
Yeah.
around the General's Handbook sort of time, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Ooh. Really looking forward to the General's Handbook.
Yeah, I am as well.
They're split into 2 books now, but hey,
yeah, well,
any change, good change.
I think it's still going to be one purchase, so yeah, you'll buy I think they'll just be like the 2 books together wrapped in cellophane. So it's not like you've got to buy. I don't think it'll go up in price or anything. It might do, but
Non GW.
But I don't know. How would you feel if that means that points change more often, like every 6 months rather than once a year, or?
I think it'd be good. Keeping the points more current, more relevant to the. So points can be adjusted to a lot of the newer army books.
Yeah. Well, plus, they do the FAQs every 6 months, don't they? And I'm sure sometimes when they do them, they probably think, "Oh, we don't need to FAQ that. That's how it's meant to work," or that's fine. But they it just needs a bit of a points adjustment, maybe. And
Yep.
but then they obviously, if you wait 6 months, that's a long time where it's still a bit over the top, isn't it?
Yeah, and has time to can make a real difference in the meta.
Yeah. Okay, do you want to jump into the news?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
do you want to look at these? Talk about some forbidden power.
yep.
Right. Let me see if I can.
It's gonna have a few changes. First of all, I mean, terrain looks nice. Second of all, allies for everybody.
Let's see if I can share my screen now. Oh, that's going crazy.
Oh,
So we're going to look at these old MS spells. Have you seen these war scrolls?
Yeah, yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I think it's more things to look out for rather than things we're going to use. Basically, because of our lack of magic, I doubt we're going to see many of them in a KO list, but it's definitely something we have to be aware of in future games.
I think the main takeaway is any army you play now could have some sort of teleporting or ridiculous movement.
Yeah, especially this first one. He can teleport a unit, and then the unit can move afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know if that will be FAQ'd though. Do you reckon that's intentional?
No, because the bridge, basically the bridge does it. It's no risk, but you're 9 inches away. This guy is harder to pull off. Comes with he kills one of your models, but then you can move afterwards. It's kind of you pay for a better spell, essentially. Yeah. So you can never be used on things like you
can't use them on a hero because if you use them on a hero, you lose your hero. So
yeah, it's probably not worth it on the bigger units, but on units of like health, crypt flayers and such. But a unit of 30 witches, that's going to teleport over.
Well, yeah, I mean the trouble is if you can get them in range because it's wholly within 3 inches.
Yeah, I think someone made a graph of that. You can fit about 30 something 32 mil bases and 50 something 25 mil bases.
But is that if you go all the way round in a circle and then
yeah,
because then like that means you're putting the boat inside your deployment zone rather than outside of your deployment zone, so there it doesn't get as much movement and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you did it turn 1, you've got to deploy all your guys in a circle, leaving that gap, and then rather than casting it in front of that unit, you're casting it sort of in the middle of the unit, and then when it moves like it's 12 inches, it won't go so far.
Yeah, but it'll still give them basically an extra 12 inches.
Yeah.
And then they can do their normal move and run.
I was wondering whether I could teleport 30 Arcanauts with this, to be honest. Because if you lose,
could teleport 30 Arcanauts with this.
Yeah. And because you don't even want to get into combat. Like the 9 inches away thing doesn't even matter. You just want to shoot. And it just means that you get basically, instead of like your normal 28-inch threat range, you've got
Skelly Boatman!
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Sounds like Hayden's just joined us.
Yeah. I'm only here for a couple of minutes before my son throws up again. So, hi, guys.
Hi.
So, what are we talking about? Skelly Boatman.
Skelly Boatman. The canoe man.
Yeah, he's cool. He's broken. I don't like him.
Definitely something to look out for.
I think that's going to get FAQ. That's my gut feeling, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, because I mean, like, as Alex was saying before, just the capability to rocket like 30 witches across the board, and like, you mean, yeah, they take 1 wound or something, but oh, buddy, but you know what I mean? It's it's just so much room for just
Well, it's just the fact you can move afterwards. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Why bother?
So
having
those
a
same
thing?
30 witch elves can get buffed up, get shot across the board, and charge something.
Why bother stopping you from like disembarking from the canoe 9 inches away if you're then going to move afterwards anyway? But there's no point having that. And I think that's probably not the only mistake they've made on one of these war scrolls either.
Really?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Yeah, when we get to it, I'll point it out. So I think, but even if it is so that you does get changed, so you can't move afterwards, I think there is potential there if you can get enough Arcanauts around the base to teleport it, because you get all your pistols in range as well. Then,
Yeah,
and
you can.
Yeah, true. But do you really want to be putting, let's say a 40 block of Arcanauts, even a 20 block of Arcanauts, potentially that far up, so they can just get mulched by something if they get the charge off?
Let's
Probably
say
not.
it doesn't necessarily be Arcanauts, it could be Thunderers, but let's take Kron's Cancon list, for example, and he was dropping a frigate with Thunderers and just shooting a load of stuff as a distraction.
Yeah, true.
And you could do the same thing, but you're not spending 240 points on a frigate, you're spending 140 points on a wizard and however much his spell is, which is 60 or 80. I can't remember which one this one is. So
that's
cheaper, and it's cheaper, and then you've got an unbind as well, and other spells. So there's potential there just as a distraction, or if you want to just take off a key piece from your enemy and to have that threat range.
No. Stay away from that.
And the other thing I wondered was sometimes when I deploy my Arcanauts, if I've got a big block, I don't always know where to deploy them because I want to deploy them to threaten something.
I'd say deploying your Arcanauts, you want to keeping them safe is more important than threatening something.
Yeah,
the enemy will walk in the threat range.
Yeah, sometimes there's a key thing that you want to kill early, and you kind of want to know where it's going to be, and not knowing where that. So you might put your Arcanauts in the middle, but then if they deploy that key piece on one side, you can just move. You don't have to move forwards. You could just teleport them sideways, and then still use their 24-inch threat range to pick something off from a distance. But you just move your threat, because it's quite a big move. By the time you take the 3 inches when you disembark as well.
Well,
that could be quite useful for that.
Yeah. As if you don't want to take, you're taking the Incantor at that point,
or a mercenary possibly, but we haven't got onto mercenaries. We'll leave mercenaries for a second. Let's just assume it's an Incantor.
You ready for the ghoul meta, Hayden?
Fuck!
You ready for the ghoul meta?
No, I'm not ready for the ghoul meta. I'm not ready for people to take 9 flayers and a fire slayer list. That's like mortal wounds for everyone. Yeah. Anyway, don't get me started, please. I won't stop.
Right.
Well, the
what were you
question
going to
is,
say, Alex, about the Incantor?
Oh, so basically you're taking the Incantor, which means you're not taking Evocators, essentially. You're not taking a screen. You're going to miss out on that screen.
Oh, you could.
Yeah. Have you guys talked about the Bobo list yet? I'm so sorry, I'm starting a bit.
No, we have to do that next.
We're thinking of leaving that towards the end.
Okay, so it is. Not easy.
We'll quickly do. Once we go for the spells or the forbidden power, I know roughly what's happening at Bobo, so I'll quickly. Well, I can say it now. Actually,
sick.
Gary Percival is 2-1 at the moment. He lost to Idenef in his second game.
What a penis!
In places of arcane power, so with big unit wheels off the board.
Oh well, that happens.
I don't really know what's happening with anyone else, but Yeah, Gary, update.
Yeah.
It's tough.
And I've had a quick look through the KO list, but I don't know if there's any other KO players that would be. I mean, there might be. I don't know. Hopefully, there'll be some doing well. We'll find out tomorrow, I guess. Right. Should we look at the next one?
I know. The next one. I have no idea what the other ones do.
Well, this one's very similar. It's the bridge. Although,
it's the bridge.
Before we look at the war score, just look how much that model goes over off the base.
Yeah, it does.
Like if you've got to fit a certain amount of models around that, that's got to impact it. I mean, our little dwarfs will probably be short enough to go under it, but
yeah, I mean, like if you had to try and get as I said, 9 crap flyers around it. I mean, yeah.
Yep. So it's the boatman, but slightly more toned down.
Yeah. Well, you get 6 inches around it as well instead of 3 inches, so you can get more stuff over it.
Have an easier time of it.
Yeah, and you can move more than one unit. So you could move like a hero and a unit, or 2 units over the bridge if you wanted.
Yeah, and it actually works on heroes as opposed to the boatman.
Oh, one thing about both of these is when you set them up again, like you don't have to set them up in front of the spell. So you might set them up behind the spell, and basically then the spell is like a big wall in the way of them being charged.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a screen that can't be killed. And I don't know if your opponent can move these. I'm assuming not. Maybe with the... I don't know really how that work with the canoe guy, because he moves in the movement phase. So I don't know if he moves between turns. Whether your opponent will be able to move him.
Where's my brush?
No, but I'm afraid they might be pretty easy to just walk around.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's never like going to be perfect. It's just... But even if it stops, 5 models getting into combat or something, it's something, isn't it? To be aware of that you can do. Which is kind of unique to KO. Because anyone else is going to be trying to use them to get into combat. Whereas we'll just pop out and shoot, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
It might be something to try.
Yeah. So, because this one's only 20 points cheaper, isn't it? I think.
Don't mind me, I'm just scrubbing my son's vomit off the floor.
Ooh.
Don't have kids, Steve. What was that?
Is it easier to cast the bridge?
This one is
the bridge. How much was a Skelly Boatman?
Oh, they're both a 6.
Oh, all right.
Ah.
I mean, you can send a hero over the bridge. So that's
yeah. I don't know,
but I mean, if you've got an army where you've got like a slow monstery thing or something, that could be quite useful.
Yeah,
oh,
I mean,
can we send a ship over the bridge?
Is it dependent on base size?
Well, it's 6 inches away. Only within 6. So I don't know if you get a frigate or an ironclad base sideways onto it. Maybe you can send the whole
you
ship
could
over.
do it.
Send the whole ship over and then disembark everything.
No. When do you send it over? At the start of the hero phase?
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, yeah, because it's not at the start, then you can't disembark anything at all. Where's he gone?
Disappointing.
FAQs.
It's in the movement phase. So there'll be no point doing it at all.
No.
Okay. Let's look at this one then. Oh, this is the one with that I think's got a mistake on it. Sorry, what were you going to say, Hayden?
I was just going to ask, just back on Skelly Boatman. I'm going to keep calling them that, by the way. So, how far did you need to be wholly within for the unit to be able to be transported? How far was it? 3 inches. So I couldn't. Oh, that sucks. I'm saying I could maybe put a 30 block of or a Hearthguard of Berserkers around and then just fucking blah. But sadly not.
You technically can.
Like unit of 10, because they're 2 wounds each, so it doesn't really matter. So
someone made a graph of exactly how you can do it, and it was 30 something 32 mils or 50 something 25 mils at maximum.
Gross.
That's with completely surrounding this thing.
Yeah, but I still have to take an allied. What is it in a Fire Slayer list? So that's kind of a hard one. But anyway, that's for another time.
We have to take an allied king. He's a wizard. Yeah.
It's so not fluffy. Anyway, carry on.
In your Fire Slayers, Hayden, you can just use a Rune Smiter.
No, but he's not a wizard.
No, you can just deploy them off the table and then drop them down. Why would you need to use the spell to teleport them?
Because it's cool.
And what else?
That's the only reason. Do. It's cool.
Because it's a skeleton boatman. That's why. Yeah,
just because it's a skelly boatman running around like just transporting random dudes for death. So it's,
You know what's annoying is everyone seems to be getting boats these days, haven't they? I mean, we've already got boats, but all these new boats keeps coming out. There's a skull boat, and the IDNF got their shipwreck.
It's because Shaiish is like their new world. Yeah, you know what I mean? They're all off to colonize it.
Yeah.
And plunder its riches.
We need more KO boats. Well, we need the ones we've got to be better, but
yes.
Anyway, the Horrorgar. I think there's a mistake in this one because you can't move it after you set it up.
Oh, really? So it has to be set.
Like normally they have an ability that says, "Oh, whenever you cast this, you can immediately make a move with it."
Yeah,
and it doesn't have that. And so what that means is you set it up wholly within 12, and then anything within 12 gets affected by it. So what you do is you cast it, and then you debuff your caster and any models next to it.
Yeah.
So you debuff your own army with this first.
It's not great.
I've got another off-topic question again. I'm sorry about this. But where's Dan? Isn't he supposed to be here?
But Dan has got a child that he's looking after that isn't throwing up.
Well, that's... no excuses. But anyway, carry on.
He's watching. He's in the live chat, or he was in the live chat.
Oh, well, that's how it is. But anyway, yep, sorry, continue with these fucking spells for bird and bullshit.
Yeah. I don't see myself using this one.
No.
Skelly Boatman's is better.
I mean, I don't know how much this is. I think this is probably the cheapest, so like 40 or something, but I can't see any reason to take it. I mean, it's -1 to bravery, or -2 if they're even closer. But I mean, maybe there'd be something with an earbuster in Monarch, but you're really playing for it. Like it needs to be a bit like a wizard and an ender spell just to do that. It's going to be very situational.
Time to risk giving my son some water. Here you go, boy. So what's the next spell? Is it that fucking
Shard of Valagar?
Shardy McShard face? No.
possibly. So this one's easy to cast on a 5.
Oh yeah.
And then you place one and then you place the other. It's like 2 models.
1 millimeter wide. What?
Where are you reading that? Well, I can't remember what this one does.
Look at the abilities.
Oh yeah, it's this one. It's the one where you draw a line between there's 2 models. You draw a line between the 2 models.
Yeah.
And if if the line goes over a unit, they halve their movement characteristic. So basically now everybody has got a rat trap.
And
But it's not as good as a rat
subtract
trap.
1 from hit rolls that attack. Sorry,
Yeah.
that unit makes.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a nasty one.
Yeah.
That could be pretty nasty.
It's not going to be easy to get models under it, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like a millimeter wide. It's like, why? What?
Oh, that's just because
Yeah.
line. They don't want a thick line. It's just a standard beam.
Yeah, they basically say it's like a millimeter wide, so people don't go, oh yeah, I've drawn a line. That's like the whole. It's so you basically go, oh, you get the 2 closest points of the models, and then they do that with all the other ones that draw a line, don't they?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be very easy to get a unit under that. When you compare it to the rat trap, where you can cast it within like 26 inches of the caster, and then you put 3 down, and then they just have an aura of effect.
Yep.
It's
not as good as that, but it is going to be something we really need to look out for, because negative modifiers to hit is basically what kills us.
Yeah. And there's loads of them about. I mean, I think you just have to be prepared for negative modifiers to hit in general, don't you? Because I think pretty much any army can dish them out now. And if you're playing in the realms, there's realm spells
Ooh, the realms are just nasty.
rather than moving these between turns, you just pick one of them up and then reposition it.
Oh, they just kind of slingshot off each other.
So they're kind of like they can leapfrog around the table.
Yeah.
So once they're on the table, that could be quite devastating.
That's kind of fun.
But yeah, I mean, I can't see myself maybe with one of those 2 movement ones. I reckon you could piece something together, but I'm not sure if it's worth all the hassle.
We've already got our movement shenanigans. We don't need any more.
Yeah. Well, the only thing is potentially because it's potentially cheaper. But I'm not sure they're cheap enough. Like, the one that will work is going to be the 80-point one, potentially, then you're at 220 points when you add in a caster. And at that point, you might as well just have a frigate.
Yeah. Doesn't cost an ally slot, and it's already fitting with your army.
Yeah, it doesn't increase your drop count, so.
Yeah. Not to be used by us, just to be looked out for by us.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for them and know what they do, so that if someone does use them. Because the other thing with these is, like with the other endless spells, for the next couple of months, people will be trying them out and using them.
Yep.
And so they get a lot more play soon, and then they die off a bit, I think, won't they?
When people figure out ones and which ones how to deal with them.
Yeah. And
strategies for blocking off their usefulness with the button. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I can't remember which article the penumbra entrance was on.
So is that it? With the new stuff, the new endless spells and the allies for everybody?
There's the scenery piece. I don't want to talk about all the other scenery, but the one that you can take as part of your army.
Oh yeah.
Ha!
So it's 100 points. Is the first thing you probably want to know. It's not free.
Yep.
And it can do. Basically, it can do two different things, but it depends what you roll at the beginning of the. I can't remember when you roll. It's like at the beginning of the turn. So it either gives you an extra command point, or it gives you re-roll, say rolls of 1, and it's for stuff within 12 inches.
What, re-roll hit rolls and such?
No, re-roll save rolls of 1.
Oh.
Attacks at target units wholly within 12 inches. So it's basically a free Mystic Shield.
Yeah.
Or on a roll of 4 to 6, if you have a hero within 12 inches of it, you get an extra command point that turn.
Okay.
So you get.
I
can
don't
see
think
some
it's gonna
armies using it.
I don't think it's going
an allied
to
slot.
us.
No, but it's going to be something that other people will use. I think other armies.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, we don't really have
command abilities
to spam or to really use. We do have a couple, but like if you build your list around them, like you might have them. But yeah, they're not, especially late game. Because the thing is, because it's on a roll of 4 to 6, it's basically 50-50 whether you get it.
Yep.
So you can't even plan around it. Like you might get it, but you might not. So you're not really guaranteed having any extra command points until later in the game.
Yeah.
Once you've rolled a couple of times, and then you might have built some up. So it's not like you can say, "Oh, I won't take a command point or build one into my list." And have that instead.
Because this thing is worth 2 command points.
Yeah, it costs 2 command points anyway.
You could take this, or you could take just 2 command points.
They can.
Yeah. I mean,
just not if he said sieges.
And then reroll save rolls of 1.
Cancer.
Is
doesn't really matter. You've only got to start up save.
Yeah, it's not great. Not for us anyway. With saves of 5+ and 4+ are going everywhere.
Nah.
I'm so sorry, team. I just realised that we were still on the podcast. I was just talking to the missus about giving my son anti-nausea pills. Fuck, that's embarrassing. Anyway, continue.
We're just talking about the
things.
number entry, the terrain piece.
Oh yeah, the thing off Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like it aesthetically because it kind of looks like it's a load of cogs and stuff, isn't it? It would fit KO.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be cool for a Stormcast army thematically, just because it's Sigmarite and shit. But apart from that,
we're just saying what it does is not that great because it costs 100 points.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, any terrain piece that you have to pay points for, you have to look at. I mean, it has to be really worth it. And it obviously isn't. So fuck it.
Right. Should we move on? Should we? There's no point talking about the other terrain pieces, really. It's just terrain, and really they just have like inspiring or something else, or there's like the one where if you roll a 6, something happens. But
no, they're not really game changing. I'd say expansion isn't a required buy for a Kharadron Overlords player.
No.
Just if you want to go into those allies.
One thing I would say about the new scenery is it's going to affect our shooting because first of all they just block line of sight anyway because they're quite big. I don't know how tall they are.
And our dwarves are very small.
But our dwarves are short. And the other thing is they're obstacles. So even if something's behind it and not fully hidden, they get cover even if they're not on it from shooting
Yep.
because it's an obstacle. So, yeah, I mean, we've got the Ren to deal with cover bonus anyway, but it's just an extra thing to be aware of. It's just going to mean it's going to be very easy for people to hide whole units of 40 models behind one of these and be out of line of sight. Like you could put like a whole unit of ghouls, couldn't you, behind there, and we wouldn't be able to see them. I don't think. Maybe a standard. Like if something's got they've got a standard bearer in the army, we just shoot at that one standard bearer, and then because of the wounds will spill over,
and the whole unit is around him.
And they won't want to take that model off because that's the one that gives them the bonus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So turns out Age of Sigmar isn't the most realistic game.
No. Do we want to risk triggering Hayden and talking about mercenaries?
Ah! My
dear.
son just looked at me very strangely, but if you guys really want to, I think it'll be a good idea. I mean, I'll try and control myself from losing my mind, but yeah.
It's all right. Fire Slayers. Fire Slayers are fluffy.
But why? Why would you mercenary in the Fire Slayers when you can just ally them in and keep your command point?
Because let's just say that so the buffs that the Fire Slayers get aren't actually that bad. I think it's like +1 to hit.
Oh yeah, because they get buffs, don't they? If they're mercenary.
Yeah. Yes, but from turn 3, you get -1 bravery every turn, which doesn't really matter, really. Because I mean, like, if you're allying anything in, it's going to be half-guard berserkers. Because even a unit of 10 can do some really badass damage, and maybe even a rune smiter, so you can pop them up somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, let's just unpack this a bit, just because, some people might not actually know how this works. So basically, they take up each unit that you mercenary in takes up an ally slot as normal, as if they're an ally, and they cost towards your ally points. So you're limited to 1 in 4 units and to 400 points in a 2,000 point game, and you can't spend it's the same pool of points. So you can't have 400 points of allies and 400 points of mercenaries.
Yeah, that would be silly.
Yeah, which is kind of what I thought it was gonna be, and then what I didn't expect was you lose your command point in the first turn of the game. You don't gain that free one you get at the beginning of your hero phase.
Yeah.
So basically,
it's a bit of a cost.
It's almost like a 50-point tax, or it depends. If you don't like I said a minute ago, we don't actually have a huge amount of command abilities we need to use.
We don't really need it, no.
I mostly build one into my list just because I want one for Battle Shock if I don't want to take the first turn. That's the only time. That's when I normally Battle Shock and running 6 is what I use them for. Really. Yeah. Or Brock's command ability, but then I'll probably only use that once a game.
So you wouldn't want to do it with Brock, but there's other ways you do it.
Yeah. But then the mercenary units also get bonus abilities, don't they? And I can't remember what these are. So, do you remember, Hayden?
I'm sorry, say again?
Do you remember what the bonus abilities the mercenaries get?
So it's different depending on what faction you take. So if you're taking Fire Slayers, it's 1+ to hit on all their attacks, which is pretty gross when I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some integral buffs, I don't remember exactly, that already give you like 1+ to hit and 1+ to wound and stuff like that. But the downside, because there's always the downside to playing each, is apart from you lose a command point in the first turn, is that after turn 3 for Fire Slayers, they lose 1 bravery from turn 3, I believe, if that's what I remember correctly. And the Flesh Eater Courts, I don't actually remember what the buffs were, apart from the fact that you can just take fucking Flesh Eaters.
Yep.
Wasn't there something about how they have to be close to your general as well?
Oh, yes. So sorry, that's right. So they can't be within like 6 inches or something like that of your general. So
what happens if they are?
I'm pretty sure they still get that 1+ to hit buff. I'm not too sure. I'll have to think about it. I'll have to go back and watch TMG's preview.
Yeah.
But and for Flesh Eaters, so there are also other restrictions. So if you're playing Fire Slayers, so if you're putting a Fire Slayer mercenary unit into your army, you can't take Auric Runefathers. Oh, sorry.
Right.
So you just can't take them at all.
Yep.
Or
everything else is
the Vorstag, wasn't it? You can't take anything with the Vorstag.
Yes.
Which is
you cannot take Vorstag. You can only take Greyford.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that actually have that on their war scroll, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think it's like
right.
Whatchamacallit there. Well, there's something that has it as standard, isn't there?
So some Fire Slayers still have honor.
Pardon me?
Some Fire Slayers still have honor and won't ally with people.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. That just annoys me. And for Flesh Eater Courts, the only restriction is that you cannot take Terrorgeists or Zombie Dragons. Apart from that, you can take everything else. Yeah. Which means you can take the Courtiers that summon and the Archregent that summons.
Well, so
you could potentially have... I'm sorry?
The Courtiers don't summon, they just bring models back from the dead. But the
there is one that does, though. There is one that does summon dudes.
Is there?
I just trying to remember who it was. But
I think it's the Ghoul King, though, isn't it? I don't think it's a Courtier.
The Ghoul King and the Archregent can both bring in up to 20 serfs, which is essentially ghouls. And hold on, I'll have a look.
Because I think the Ghoul King can only bring in 10. Like the Ghoul King brings in less stuff than an Archregent.
Yeah, I'll have a look. Flesh Eater Courts, boom. So the Ghoul King can bring in 10 serfs, and the Archregent, wherever he is. Yep, so he can either bring in so he can either bring in 3 knights or 20 serfs.
Yeah.
So he could potentially bring in like 3 more crypt flayers to add to the 9 you've already brought.
Yeah.
Could you afford 9?
Bring 9 because it's out of the points, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, you could probably fit maybe a unit of 3 and an Archregent, and then that'll probably just be under 400 points.
Or you just bring 2 Archregents, and then they both summon in quick flayers.
Yeah, exactly. And you just keep doing it.
Well, yeah, you can only do it once per game.
It doesn't say that.
It does. It says something like that hasn't already used it.
You can only do it once per game.
Are you sure?
It says something like that hasn't... It's like halfway down the wording. It says something like, that hasn't already used the ability this game or something.
Ghouls don't get infinite summons. It's not that bad.
Oh yeah, and has not used it before in the battle. Okay,
yeah,
got it. But either way, that's still pretty powerful.
Yeah. The key thing is it costs a command point, which you don't gain because you're taking mercenaries, which you don't have unless you've got a battalion or you've saved 50 points in your list. So if you want to summon stuff with them, it's like there's a 50-point tax almost.
Yeah.
So that makes it harder to use, yeah.
Well, it makes it harder to disabuse the summoning with them. Like you could still just put in a load of flayers into your army or a load of ghouls if you wanted.
Either way, I don't like it.
I think there's potentially something there with the Archregents because they're double casters and double unbinders.
Yes, exactly.
And then so you've got a 200-point double caster, and they're going to bring in a 170-point unit at some point. Because you don't have to bring them in turn 1. You could wait and bring them in turn 2 or 3. Like if you're playing Knife to the Heart, not Knife to the Heart because objective's right in the middle and they have to be within 6 inches of table edge. But if you're playing something and someone leaves an objective weak at the end of the game, then bringing them in on turn 3 or 4.
Can someone a quick unit of 20 ghouls?
And because we don't use many command points, that's actually quite good for us. Like we don't use many command abilities, so you might build up some command points. So,
but I do agree with Hayden. I think it's not super fluffy.
No, I think
it's going to make me sad to see everybody with these things.
With Archregents.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm the most angry about is the fact that, is that for some armies, it's just going to synergize so well in competitive play that it's going to be stupid not to take it. And then you're just going to keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again. And that's, I just don't, nah.
Well, the other thing is the GHB is coming up. So do we think Archregents will go up in price?
I almost guarantee it.
Because the thing is, they've already printed it, so they can't wait to see if suddenly loads of people start taking them. So then the argument is, like, would they have just put it up or had Archregents higher in price to begin with? Like, because they knew they were doing this.
Have they already printed it?
Well, they printed it now, haven't they? Like, oh, I assume they have. Like, they've announced it. I don't know. It's not going to be like they're going to wait 2 weeks and then start printing the GHB. They're not. They're going to wait to see if suddenly everyone starts adding Archregents to the list. And the trouble is they don't want with all this mercenary stuff. Is because I thought they'd have separate points for them. Like, so they just have like a war scroll for like a mercenary unit with different points, and then and then that way you can keep it separate to their whole army, like the army they're normally from. But they're just using the normal points values, which means like just because they're really good for allying in, like you don't want to just nerf them so much that they're no good in their normal army. I mean, to be honest, maybe Archregents could stand to go up in a Flesh Eater Court's army anyway. Bearing in mind they will summon in for free a 170-point unit anyway, and they're double cast for 200
points cheaper. Yeah.
So, they're basically are they 170 points players?
Yes.
Or are they 100? Builder. I think for some reason I've got 170.
Yep, Crypt Flayers are 170 points.
Okay, yeah. So they're basically a 30-point double caster.
Yep.
That lets you teleport a unit of Crypt Flayers. Because you can put that unit of Crypt Flayers on the opposite side of the board.
He's not a pushover in a close combat either. He can take a small unit.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing though. Arcanauts can kill 2 in the first turn of your game.
Oh yeah.
As I did the other night. And
we're a good matchup against Flesh Eater Courts.
Yeah.
Fuck's sakes.
Right. Should we talk about some lists?
Yes.
There's no other news, is there?
Nasty things.
Is there any other news?
I guess for Australian viewers, Sydney GT's player pack came out, and it's a 2,500-point tournament this time.
Yeah, I love it.
And that's a pretty major tournament. So, yeah.
So, how many games is it? Is it 5 games or 6?
5 games. It's not CanCon. It's only 5 games, but it's 2 days at big venue in Sydney. And
Are you going?
we're gonna have to start thinking about the 2,500 point meta.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, an extra 500 points means the games will take a bit longer, won't they?
Yeah, it also means you have to take an extra battle line.
Yeah. But you get, I mean, you get still roughly 400 points to spend more on the rest of your army.
Well, my question is it worth taking a second unit of a second big Archanaut unit?
Well, having two big Archanaut units, possibly. I mean, have either of you kept an eye on the Facebook group today?
Yeah,
Me?
People still really like people still trying to test out the triple big Skyhook unit.
Yeah.
But I think no one has the money to do that, so no one's actually done it yet.
Yeah, well, the other thing is I don't think it actually has the legs in a 2,000 point game to, you can't go and get objectives.
No, it'll be very immobile. You're just going to have to shoot the enemy and then hope that you do it quickly enough that you can walk out in turn 3 or 4.
Yeah. But yeah, in 2,500 points, maybe 2 big units could work.
Or 4 iron. Who wants to do 4 ironclads?
Stop it. You're all right. The kettles?
Yeah, although the other thing you could do, Con, is you could change your frigate to an ironclad drop and put in 20 thunderers.
20 thunderers, yeah.
18 engine riggers.
18's not enough. At 2,500 points, you could have like, I don't know, like
something.
Oh, I mean, if you can fit 20 something in a 2,000 point, you could fit a lot. You could fit 30, I reckon.
The problem is you still need to have 4 units of Archonauts in 2,500 points.
Yeah.
Oh, just take them in 10s. You'll be right.
Oh, although another big thing is allies that increase to 500 points. So what? 500 points of allies.
500 points of evocators. There you go.
Well, when is this tournament?
In October.
Okay, so the GHB would have come by then, and evocators would have gone up by then. So you'll just keep your normal evocators, Alex.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't plan really now until the GHB comes out.
We might even have a new book, but I hope. Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for news.
Okay.
Lists.
Okay, let's look at the list. Can you all see these lists? Let's zoom in on this a bit more.
I can't see your list.
Right. Is it big enough? Yeah. I wanted just a clown car list to show, so I figured why not steal one of Gary's.
Right.
So
wait, why am I watching on YouTube? Anyways, sorry.
So this is basically the one he took to Justice series.
Yeah.
Just as an example, as a clown car list.
18 engine riggers. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
So let's talk about clown car and how that works. For anyone that doesn't really know how clown car works.
Go forth.
So basically, the concept is that you have a ship and you basically have your minimum battle line, and you then pile everything else into your ship so you can be low drops. And then the way it will has to work now, because they nerfed the move in the hero phase, is that you just use the Aetheric Endrins, which you get from being Barrack Sylvan Allegiance, to drop that ship somewhere on the board and pile everything out like a clown car. That's why it's called the clown car.
Yeah.
what I think Gary typically does, and I think is probably the smart way of playing it, is you put it on a flank, and you put it on your opponent's weak flank, and then basically everything has to slowly come the long length of the board towards you while you shoot them.
Yeah.
And we talked about this list already on another show. So one thing we didn't pick up that much was the Deus Arcanum. Or we talked about it a little bit, which was, I think that was just to basically so you could get the Incanter forwards and for unbinding shit. And the Thermal Rider Cloak, which is basically so the chemist can keep in range of the riggers, partially for the buff, but also if he needs to give them battle shock immunity.
Yeah. I think the Thermal Rider Cloak's a smart pick.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's not an obvious thing to pick, but once you start playing it, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's really handy to have that chemist close to the riggers, so that like if you do want to stop them running, you can. Because there's a lot of points invested in those riggers, really.
Yeah, there is. It's the same as a 40-man Archanaut blob.
Well, 30-man.
It's wise.
Because there's 9 riggers, so it's a 30-man.
Oh, then it's only 30-man.
Although, yeah, I mean, when you build your 40-man Archanaut unit, you're only really investing 360 points because you don't have the choice about the first 120 points, do you? You're taking that anyway.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the clown car. Spoiler alert for later in the show, that's not Gary's current list. He's moved away from it, so obviously he doesn't feel that has the legs that much at the moment for play.
I'm still wary of it because of all the eggs in one basket thing.
Yeah.
If the clown car alpha spike doesn't work, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. Which is why you normally put it on a weak flank, so it has the best success of working.
The best chances, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other interesting thing is when we talked about Zilfin last show, I said about total commitment being an issue.
Yeah.
But actually, I've thought about that more since, and I reckon if total commitment was in like a tournament pack, I would still potentially clown car if I was running a clown car list, because if you've got Fleet Master, you still got the option. You still can just move your whole army to like another flank if you want to.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you can still do some interesting things for that.
Yeah.
But the essential thing with this list is you have minimum forces in your deployment zone, and you put a large amount of force in one place.
Yeah. And hope that overwhelms the opponent.
Yeah. So if we move on to this, does this look familiar?
Oh, hang on. It's gone over to Hayden's screen. I can't see it.
Oh,
what was it?
Not...
Oh, here we go.
Is it not whatchamacallit?
The cron drop.
Is it not
never seen it
anchored on my screen?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it switches over to Hayden sometimes.
Oh really?
Sorry to say, it's probably because my son's making noises in the background.
Oh yeah, but I thought I had it locked on me.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me just double check because
that's right.
Presenting to everyone. No, I don't know how this works. Let's just carry on. Yeah, so this is your list.
Well, looks I don't know.
Looks shit, doesn't it?
Pretty shit. Whoever thought of this is an idiot.
Yeah. Did you want to explain it then, Alex?
All right. Well, it's a bit of a clown car, but it's also a gun line. Really trying to have more than one threat at a time. So you set up the gun line, Arkanauts at the back, a big Arkanaut blob at the back. Then the Evocators in front of that. Then the 10-man is screening both the Evocators and the gun line. Chemist is with that. Then you got the frigate and the 14 Thunderers, and a Chemist inside that, which will come down, shoot something, be big and threatening and distracting, and hopefully split your enemy's forces, allowing your Arkanauts and the to take them off one by one. Evocators are a really good magic and combat threat, right? Combat threat. Thunderers can do their thunder slingshot to take off enemy objectives, especially knife to the heart. It's hilarious when that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, we kind of discussed this a bit last show, didn't we? How it works.
I think we discussed it most shows.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that's important about it, from my perspective, is just the interaction of having the evocators with the Arkanaut unit, and the fact that the Thunderers can run away in the combat phase.
Yeah.
But just because
no win.
Yeah, no, it's a no-win situation if they want to attack both units. Like, because one has to, like, if you fight the Thunderers first, then you get hit by the evocators. And if you fight the Arkanauts first, then the Thunderers escape. Yeah.
Thunderers get away.
So, yeah. So essentially, this is the bulk of your forces being in your deployment zone, and then a distraction, isn't it?
Yeah. And then you really need to be aggressive turn 3 and 4 and push out with your stuff in your deployment zone.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are not going to have the bodies to take objectives.
No. Yeah, because you haven't got much movement in there other than the frigate.
No.
When we get onto the
evocators with their 5-inch move. They got big boy legs.
Okay. Out of interest, if Sky Wardens went back down to 100, would you take 2 units of 6 with Sky Pikes to sit where the evocators do?
Hell yeah!
Or maybe have one of them as a unit of 6 and one of them an evocator unit, so you don't lose an unbind.
Drill cannons.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah!
Because then you've got some 12-inch movement, haven't you?
And they are, they're dwarves, so you're going back to the theme. You want dwarves.
Yeah. Okay. So, something I've been trying to think about recently is trying to combine this list with the traditional clown car list. But basically,
it already is that, isn't it?
Well, no, but I want to do so. This is the main part of your force. Like the most of your force is concentrated in your deployment zone, and then you drop a distraction. And what I want to try and figure out how to do is have a distraction in your deployment zone, and then drop a massive force like you do with the clown car on a flank or something, but still have that other unit that's a big enough threat because it's shooting 24 inches or whatever and can take stuff out that they think, shit, I've got to deal with that as well. And I've been trying to
take out the evocators. Just have that big 40-man blob. Don't even put a chemist with it. Just the sight of a 40-man blob to scare people, I guess.
Yeah, because that's the issue I've been having is you need to have it's so tempting. Like once you invest those points into those Arcanauts,
Just keep investing.
To then have a chemist with them. And also, like, you need some way of making them Battleshock immune once they do. I mean, actually, if you're thinking they're just a distraction, then maybe you don't need to make them Battleshock immune. But
no, the whole point is your opponent. Yeah, you bait your opponent into investing more points into killing them than they're actually worth.
Yeah. Although the thing is, they're probably on an objective if they're in your deployment zone. So you probably do need to keep them alive if you did that.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to figure it out. I haven't been able to figure out how to make the points work and keep the drop count how I want it to be. Because basically I view Flesh Eater Courts as a gatekeeper army, and I don't want to be outdropped by it, because if you are going to have a sizable unit in your deployment zone, you don't want a dragon to kill it first turn.
No.
And also I don't just want them summoning loads of stuff first turn either.
Oh, so you'd actually go first against Flesh Eater Courts?
It depends. It depends where their arch regents are and stuff like that. Because I don't want to be double turned by them either.
No, you really don't.
But like, for instance, the game I played the other day, I went first and I killed 2 arch regents, which stopped them summoning later at all. But
yeah.
And the zombie dragon was the opposite side of the table, because he didn't want to deploy it near my Arcanaut unit and get shot. So I knew that even over a double turn, it wasn't going to come and hit me. It hit my partner because we were playing doubles. It hit him, but that was death models. I don't care about them.
They're not dwarves. They don't count.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not real people.
Who's not real people?
They're
not dwarves.
Direwolves.
Death people.
Direwolves and the gas are not real people.
Come back here.
But anyway, while I was trying to think of that idea, oh no, it's in the wrong order.
Brent,
where's the other list?
Wait.
No.
Squadron switcheroo?
Yeah, I made up this. So this is another Zilfin.
I'm seeing more than one frigate. Explain.
Well,
it's 2 frigates.
It's an Iron Sky Squadron. That's
what's called
Squadron Switcheroo. So
someone's actually done
it. I haven't tried this out. This is just a theory list. I don't think it's actually got enough threats in it.
Come on.
But basically, my idea behind this list is you have 2 frigates, one of which you put in the sky, and then you have Fleet Master. So
Brennan, come on. Brennan,
you put one on the table just randomly in a corner somewhere, and then you redeploy it. So you deploy everything heavily on one flank. And basically all of your heroes go in one frigate, and then when they disembark, that means that they are close enough to buff the frigate, the Thunderers that are in the one that drops from the sky, which means you can have 15 Thunderers rather than 14. And it means that. So I've got some deck sweepers in there and Aether cannons, because then you drop 12 inches away and they're being ranged to shoot with them. So it's got a bit more punch.
Planning on buffing the Thunderers then?
No, you buff the Aether cannons.
Oh.
Because like an Aether cannon is more powerful unbuffed than a buffed rifle anyway. It's just it has less range, isn't it? I mean, it depends. Like, it depends what you want to target. So, because it's flexible that way. Like, if you want to target something close and you need to do more damage, then you can buff the Aether cannons. But if you want to put more wounds on something further away, then you buff your rifles. Because you still got 10 rifles.
The Aether cannons get real hits and wounds, don't they? What if the deck sweepers hit?
If the deck sweepers cause a wound, then the Aether cannons can reroll all failed hits, and they wound on a 2 anyway.
But they reroll wounds. Oh, do they not reroll wounds?
No, but they're only ruining on a 2, and
Yeah.
then they re-roll all the damage they do, and it's D3 damage. So,
Yeah. Oh, right.
and because it's Zilfin, you're re-rolling 1s to wound anyway if you're targeting something that flies. So potentially those 3 cannon shots will be 6 shots, hitting on 4s but re-rolling all failed hits, wounding on 2s, re-rolling the 1s, and then Ren 2, D3 damage, re-roll the damage.
Yeah.
Which, like, yeah, that could be pretty nasty because like you can pretty much risk re-rolling all the damage 1s and damage 2s. I mean, if you were feeling sort of cautious, you'd only re-roll the 1s on the damage. But
no, you could do some real hurt with that. Yeah, I can see that.
But the problem this list has is it's really only got the Thunderers and the Riggers as threats.
And so we've got
the frigates will do a bit of damage in turn 1 because they've got 2 shots because of the squadron.
Yeah.
And it's a 1-drop, and you've got all of the psych out stuff where you're just basically your opponent's got no idea where anything's going to be because you've got one ship in the sky. You've got one ship in the sky, so they have to spread things out because they won't want it dropping in their deployment zone. And then the ship with most of your force on the table will move as well. So
yeah.
And you can deploy it right far back in a corner if you wanted. If you wanted to let your opponent go first, you can deploy it somewhere where they can just never get to it. And then your other ship's fine because it's in the sky. And then you just... Oh, no, wait, you redeploy it. Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that because you have to redeploy it before the game starts. But yeah.
Yeah, and you want to start threatening objectives as well.
Okay,
lads, I've got to go.
Okay.
All right.
Right, have a good one, guys.
You too.
Bye, Hayden.
Bye.
So it's an interesting one. I mean, I haven't got 2 frigates, so I can't actually try it out. I mean, yeah. Next time I
can try it out.
Yeah, next time I mean, I tell my mates, they wouldn't care. I could put a Coke can on the table and say it's a model, and then they'd be like, "Yeah, fine."
I usually play in the local GW, so they're a bit more stuck up there.
Yeah. Right, you can actually play in your local store because mine's really small and you just can't play. They don't actually play any games there. Like
that store's good for playing games. There'll always be someone in there to play a game with. If I wanted to, I could play a game every day of the week.
Yeah.
If I had time.
But I've got other local stores I can go and play in. So I stick to mostly playing my mates. And to be honest, I haven't got the time to go. Like you said, you can't. Like if you had the time, you could go play every day of the week. But the reality is, you don't have the. People don't always have the time to do that, do they? Okay, shall we move on to some Monar lists? See if I can find them because they're not actually in the right order. Okay, is this the first one? Yeah. So this is a Monar list with Brock Gronson. So to explain Monar for people that don't know, basically the allegiance abilities for Monar is you get to run and shoot in your first turn, and you can take a command trait that lets basically your hero, anything within 3 inches of your hero, you pick a enemy unit in the shooting phase, and then anything that's within 3 inches of that general can reroll all failed hit rolls. And then they've got another thing about bravery in the enemy territory, and you can pile in attack once per game, can't you? In the hero phase.
All enemy units in combat with you are -1 bravery as well.
Oh yeah, and that. Nice. Yeah, which is actually important. But so this list is just to really highlight some synergy you can build with Brock, because Brock has the command ability that lets you run and charge.
Yeah. So turn 1, you're running, charging, shooting, the whole lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's 1900 points. So you start with 2 command points, and then you get and then you get 1 when you start your turn. You got 3, and the other thing that's interesting is I've got the Aether Quartz brooch in there. So
yes, you've got a
you're
ghost chemist.
Pardon?
You got the ghost chemist who ignores rend.
No, this is the one that gives you extra command points. So every time you use a command point, you roll a dice on a 5+, you get another one.
Oh, right.
So this is like potentially like a massive command point farm.
Yeah.
But we haven't got anything to use them on. But it's just interesting that we get to build that.
I don't think you need 3 command points to start the game with.
No, you don't. But then the way the points work out, it's just the way it is. Like you either end up with none, which isn't enough, or you end up with 2. It's just you can't make the points work out any difference. You don't need the Aether Quartz approach. It's just fun that you can put it in there, really. But
do you need that frigate though?
In this version, I mean, I've got 3 different versions of Mornalis here that I'm going to show. So the reason I think because there's 3 different things that you can use to get your riggers across the table.
Yeah,
and that's why I've got 3 different Mornalis I want to show. But I think you need at least 2 of them in a list, but not necessarily all of them. So the frigate gives you an extra 4-inch move when you disembark.
Yeah.
And so it just helps, like, because if you really want to get your riggers across the table, you get 4 inches plus 12 plus your run, which you can guarantee to be a 6 if you want to, plus your charge. You don't necessarily need. Oh, the frigate also makes it low drop. You can't need the frigate to be low drop. Like you could take it out and have.
Although
frigates, but
you could have another 6-man unit. Oh, you can make those into 9-man Endrinrigger units if you don't have the frigate, though.
But the trouble is with that, then, is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drops. Which means
you're gonna get outdropped pretty much every game.
Yeah.
But you want to go second anyway, really?
Yeah, but then do you want? I mean, you want to control that, don't you? You don't want to be forced to. I mean, you don't necessarily mind being forced to go first, but it depends. Like, I kind of like having that control.
Yeah, but I mean, you have the speed that if you do go first, you can still do things.
Yeah, but the thing is with this is there's no grapnel launchers.
No.
So because you don't have grapnel launchers, it is possible for someone just to work out how far you can get with those riggers and then just deploy far enough back and then just say, fine, you go first. And then you can't actually out, right? But it's got 3 threats because you've got 30 Arcanauts, re-rolling failed hits, and then you've got Brock's kind of a threat. He's not a massive threat, but he's big enough to go and do some work.
He can take a Terrorgeist if he gets to fight first.
Yeah. The way I envision this list working is kind of going in waves. So you send 1 unit across, and then the next turn you send another unit across, and then you send Brock across. Potentially.
That's piecemeal. That's piecemeal. That's going to get you killed real quickly.
Do you reckon?
You need an overwhelming force in one section of the board.
But the thing is, if you send 2 units into combat, one of them will die. Like, you can't charge with 2 units in the same time. You can potentially charge with a unit of riggers and Brock, because Brock can, like, tag an end unit.
He can survive a little.
But I mean, essentially, those like you'll send one unit of riggers across, and one unit of riggers will sit behind. So you have the 2 units of 10 Arcanauts screening the 30 company, and one unit of riggers will sit the same way you sit your evocators.
Yep.
And what that means is you can do a bait thing where someone comes into them, and then they go first. Someone comes into them, and then you have your turn, and then your riggers pile and attack in the hero phase, chemist buffed.
Yep.
And then go and then you can send a unit off somewhere where they're not expecting it because they think that's all tied up.
Yeah, and I guess the first unit is just like it goes, it kills one thing, and then it dies. But that one thing can be a pretty important thing.
Yeah.
Terrorgeist.
Yeah, it ought to. Well, if you charge a unit of riggers into a Terrorgeist, so you're not killing it because it's going to attack first.
Oh, yeah.
But that's why you got 30 Arcanauts. Reroll and failed hits. But yeah, this list is really just to show the synergy you can do at Brock. So let's move on and show another synergy you can do. So this is a bit more interesting, I think. Something that people probably might not have thought of. And it's an old list of mine that I played basically when AS2 first started. After basically straight after the Zilfin nerf.
Yeah.
So, and I wasn't convinced about Brock at that time. And so I was like, well, what can I do with this run and shoot? So basically you see there's 12 engine riggers there with 4 skyhooks.
Yep.
So
okay.
Yeah. That's the interesting part of the list. Because basically you've got this one's got an ironclad in it. You could do it with a frigate and then spend points elsewhere. But you have your ship, and you disembark 4 inches. Then you run with your riggers. You run them 18 inches. So in total, with the disembark, you're moving 22 inches.
Oh, but the riggers won't be able to charge after that.
No, but here's the thing: you move 22 inches, and your opponent is going to be 24 inches away. So you actually really only move 21 inches because you have to stop 20, and then you buff the skyhooks and the swords on that rigger unit. You shoot
with both
Yeah, you shoot something with the skyhooks, and if you wound with if you cause an unsaved wound, you get to move D6 inches. And that does
the unit that you have to end up closer to the unit that you shot at.
Yeah, but you can move a millimeter closer to it and then move forwards. But basically, you can move within 3 inches when you do that. So you can move into combat without charging.
Can you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There's a designer's commentary that clarifies it, or there used to be. I'm not sure if it still exists actually. I might have to check that. But you basically, whenever there's a move that says, "Oh, you can move X amount of inches," unless it says, "But you must end with it more than 3 inches away from enemy units."
It
says that you can go within 3 inches.
That's very interesting.
So you can walk into combat with it. And I tell you what, I played it at a tournament, and I played against Free Guild.
Yeah. Oh, and then they don't get to Overwatch.
No, they didn't, and they were a bit disappointed. Yeah, I mean,
I can imagine the salt flow.
Yeah, you're not going to play Free Guild very often, and to be honest, it was only it was a disappointing tournament actually because there was only 4 players. But to actually have the only time I tried using this list to actually have come up against a Free Guild opponent was quite funny, I thought.
Yeah. No, I think if that's how that works, that's really interesting, and I want to actually try that.
Yeah. The trouble you have with it is you don't necessarily you get that far. So, say if you're playing in a tournament and they got knife to the heart, it's not far enough.
Yeah.
Or one of the diagonal deployments, it can be a bit awkward. Or even if like the thing you want to target with that rigger unit isn't directly opposite them, it can be a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Like if you roll if you roll a 6 when you roll for that D6 move, it's quite good because it's like you move 6. But if you roll a 1, like if they're directly opposite and you roll a 1, you can still get into combat, but
Yeah.
because they can still pile in as well.
I guess I would just switch the Ironclad for the frigate and get a 30-man Archanaut company unit.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is I basically recreated the list I had at the time. But I think now I would take it with a frigate because I'm not sure if you'd actually
You don't need the space for the riggers.
420. I just want to. Yeah, because also you don't need to be. This is 2-drop, and you don't need to be. Yeah, so you'd save 120 points, and you'd spend. Yeah, then you save 100. You spend another 20 to buff up the Arcanauts, and you'd actually be sitting at 1900 points again, like the other list. Because that's just the way.
Could be 2 command points, or because you don't really need them as much in this one.
Well, you definitely need to make the riggers run 6. Like if they don't run 6, you obviously you get one when you start the game.
Yeah.
So
you could use those extra 100 points for
something.
The Vexilla Knight, the one with the wings and the lantern.
Oh, the Azeroth.
Azeroth, yeah.
Is he only 100?
Yeah, 100 points. Run him up with them. Give him ones to hit.
Oh yeah, because that'd be really. That affects shooting now as well, doesn't it?
It affects shooting and combat. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because what would be good about that is that will help the riggers hit with the skyhooks.
Oh yeah, it would.
And then you'd be more guaranteed to get them in.
Yeah, all right. So exchange the Ironclad for 10 Arcanauts and Vex and Azeroth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be good.
But yeah, I mostly wanted to show because I'm not entirely sure how well this works. I mean, I think it depends on, like, say if you go to a tournament and you know what the battle plans are going to be, then if they're all ones for like you're 24 inches away or 18 inches away, then it's quite, and they're not like the diagonal ones or something like Knight of the Heart, then it's pretty good. But it can fail quite easily, like if you don't cause any wounds with those skyhooks.
Yeah.
You're going to have 8 shots, but you're hitting on 4 of them. But the Knight Azeroth is a good call because you can
getting that rerolls. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think in some ways it's safer with the grapnels, but the other thing is here you've got another unit of 6 riggers
as a little backup.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is if you play an 18-inch apart deployment, you can actually keep the 12 riggers back and use them as a shooting threat, and you send in the 6 riggers because by the time you disembark, you're moving 16 inches across anyway, and without running, and then you can just charge
in. You'll be in range.
So you've got a choice of, like in the 18-inch apart deployments, you can send in the 6 riggers, keep the 12 ones back, and just send 8 skyhook shots across.
Yeah.
Although actually, no, you wouldn't, because you would buff your big unit of Arcanaught company, wouldn't you?
If it's 30 men, yes.
Yeah. Well, also they get the +1 to hit against heroes, so
it's always yeah.
But it's also then like you can like say if they deploy out of range of your Arcanauts, you can use that rigger unit as more of a mobile shooting platform.
Yeah.
Okay, move on.
No, I really like that list. I might actually try it out.
Cool.
with the changes, but
yeah,
no.
do it with the changes. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, it's definitely better with the changes.
I just have to convert all my the grapnel launchers back into skyhooks.
Well, no, to be honest, like they look so similar. It's the same weapon, just with a different pokey bit on the end, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, but my group is very the GW is very particular.
I reckon. Yeah, I mean, maybe in a GW store, like I reckon most places, if you said to someone, these are skyhooks, or these are grapnels, they'd be like, fine. Like it's not like it's an axe and you're saying it's a gun.
It's sword.
like it's the same. It's the same gun, but with a different pokey bit on the end, isn't it? So
yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah, I'll be interested to know how you go on with it. I mean, I did okay with it. I mean, the tournament I played at had Knife to the Heart in it, and then that was when I was like, oh, yeah, this doesn't work too well.
Right. Yeah.
And then it worked really well against the Free Guild, and then I played Death, and it was okay.
Didn't go well against Death.
I'm trying to remember exactly what happened. I think it went okay. I think their deathless minions, they saved all the skyhook wounds, and then you couldn't get into combat. I think that was what happened. Or no, I went hell for leather against. Oh no, in fact, I did have a completely different list. I think, or it's somehow different. I can't remember how because I think I had.
It was a while ago.
It was a long time ago. It was like last year. I tried to kill Nagash turn 1.
Oh, it's possible with KO. It's possible.
I got close, but it's just got all those extra saves after the save.
Yeah,
but
I've done it with enough with the 24 light skyhooks. I've done it, but it's a hit and miss.
Yeah. Yes, it's not guaranteed, is it? By any means.
Nope.
Anyway, let's move on to this next one.
Next thing.
This is Mornar, but to be honest, you could play it in Sylphin or Urbounds. It doesn't really rely on like the run and shoot.
Not that many grapnel launchers.
No.
Although you gave them drill cannons.
Well, your one unit's got drill cannons, one unit's got grapnels. It says 4, but it should be 3. Basically, one rigger unit's a shooter unit and one's a combat unit. You could put on the one with the drill cannons, you could put volley guns as well if you wanted.
I mean, at that point, they are shooting units and not combat units.
I mean, it depends on whether you want it to be like a all shooter unit or you want it to be like a utility piece, because you've got the 40 light skyhooks as the 40-man unit of Arkanauts. That's a shooter unit anyway.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed with the volley guns the last time I used them.
Really? But they hit on 4s with the ending riggers.
Yeah, but then when you want to target heroes with them, they hit on 5s.
Because lookouts are... Yeah.
And at that point, they're not hitting much at all.
Nope.
And that's like, if you've got... if you really want to have that unit that has such a big threat range that you can really pick out a unit and kill it, it's normally going to be a hero that you want to kill.
You do.
I mean, obviously, and that's why the drill cannons are still good, because you can put them on a nearby unit and then splash some mortal wounds onto the hero.
What have you found that you roll 6s that often that it actually splashes?
You won't splash a huge amount, but at least you can. In some ways, it's like when you with the volley guns. I found you might do like a cut 1 or 2 wounds with them, and I was just like, "Well, that's just disappointing." Right. I mean, maybe I got unlucky with them when I was using them, but the main point behind this list is just to show that really, if you just want to send a bunch of riggers in turn 1, you don't have to faff about with run and shoot and charge, or that complicated thing with the skyhooks. You can just put in some grapnel launchers.
Yeah,
it's just
bring enough
simple as
grapple
that.
launchers, they'll get there.
Yeah.
Although, with that many grapple launchers, you really got to stop putting this frigate in there.
Well, yeah. Again, it's a debate about how many drops is important, isn't it?
Is having the power of the first turn really worth 240 points?
Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know.
I know you want a boat in there with a boat dwarves, but they're just
See, that's the thing, isn't it? As well, so you want to have you
want the boat.
You feel like you need at least one, don't you? But then, do you?
It's dragging you down.
Yeah, it's an anchor. One other thing before we move on, because I don't think there's much to talk about, is because they're all very similar, these lists. I just wanted to show the different synergies.
Yeah, some examples is good.
Yeah. One thing we haven't covered that I think pretty much all three of these Mornar lists had was the Earbuster.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that's really good in Mornar, because first of all, it hits on 4s and it's 3d6 attacks, so getting reroll failed hits on it is pretty baller. And then because you're not -1 to bravery, don't you add 1 to enemy? I can't remember. You do something to your enemy's bravery that works out that basically it's either it's equivalent to -1 bravery or +1 to their rolls, isn't it? So basically, so basically, with an Earbuster and then re-rolling failed hits, you've got much more chance of causing a wound with the Earbuster, and with you'll also make one more model run away. It just synergizes nicely.
And the Earbuster can be really devastating against hordes.
Yeah.
Like, really, even skeletons, even because you can't command points. You can't stop the Earbuster going off with command points, because that command ability only works in the battle shock phase.
Mm-hmm.
So you can basically, they might have command points and just keep stopping their units from running away with it, but the Earbuster will get through that.
Yeah, exactly.
It also gets through. I've got 40 models, so I get +4 to my bravery, because that also only counts in the battle shock phase.
Oh, I think that actually counts whenever you take a battle shock test.
No, only in the battle. It only counts in the taking battle shock tests in the battle shock phase.
Are you sure? Because I'm
90% sure.
I thought that was just about here's how you calculate a battle shock test, and that's part of it. But I'm
90% sure it only affects it in the battle shock phase.
If I'm playing a game, if your opponent if your opponent says, "Oh yeah, I don't get my my +1 or my +2 or whatever to bravery," are you?
Things like that, like the ghouls with their screeching, because that's in the shooting phase. It also doesn't affect that.
Yeah, well, I just thought it was that's how you calculate battle shock.
I don't think
so. The rules.
We can look it up.
So long. Yeah, so to make a battle shock roll a dice. Add the number of models from that unit that have been slain this turn to the dice roll, and add 1 to the unit's bravery characteristic for every 10 models that are in the unit when the test is taken. It doesn't say in the battle shock phase.
All right.
So, it's listed in the rules under the battle shock phase, but then
it says for just generic battle shock tests. Okay.
yeah, so that's just basically that's how you make a battle shock roll. But
the ghoul screeching gets past it, but our thing does not.
But I mean, it still gets past the command point, inspiring presence, which is pretty key. It doesn't. I mean, a lot of armies are getting battle shock immunity again recently from like terrain pieces and stuff.
But, yeah.
But what? Sorry, go on.
It's still a very effective tactic if you can get it off. If you can do enough damage beforehand before you use the earbuster, you can really put some hurt on a unit.
I've used it to great effect. What I like about it in Monar is because the chemist is likely to be re-rolling failed hit rolls. You go from maybe causing 1 wound with an earbus or 2 to actually like against like those more elite units that have like 3 wounds or 2 wounds each. Because you have to slay a model with it, so you're more likely to slay a model with the earbuster as well. So it actually means that you can, you're more likely to be able to force a battle shock test on, with some of those bigger unit beastier boys, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
It's a very good relic. Another thing with it is though it needs the chemist to be within 10 inches of an enemy unit.
Yeah.
And if the chemist is within 10 inches of an enemy unit, then he's in trouble.
Yeah, you don't like one thing I'd like to point.
Hello? I think you cut out.